Good morning, folks. How are we doing? What time is it? It's 9:30 in the morning. It is the 21st day of October, 2025. I hope you are doing well. I hope this video finds you well. Three things to talk about today. The quote-unquote Hamas executions, which they pretty much are. I'm going to discuss a little bit about what's going on with those. The Russia-Trump agreement involving Zelensky this past Friday, and how people are reacting to that. I wrote a little something yesterday for my website and for Substack. And of course, what supposedly kicked off the attack, quote-unquote, from Hamas on the IDF soldiers in Rafah, and the bulldozer story. Which I don't believe there was a bulldozer. I haven't seen one yet. If anybody's seen a video or pictures of that fucking event and there's a bulldozer in it, please let me know. But everything that I've seen, the image, if you put it in Google and you trace the image, it goes back to some demolition job someplace that the Israeli soldiers and their contractors are doing to Palestinian homes, not Rafah. So, we have questions about that. All right, let's start off with the Hamas executions. These things, I can't keep these things lit. So, the story is that there were a number of public executions, I think 7 in all, but there's been 30 people detained and 7 executions that took place in Gaza. And the public executions you can't fucking argue with, and I'm not going to argue with. I'm not going to say it was somebody dressed up as fucking Hamas or as their Qassam brigades. They were executions. Before we do go any further, Mike Palasek sent me his latest called Infinite West. He sends me these when he puts them out. It's hard for me to read now. I'm going to have to go I'm getting a CT scan with contrast on my big brain, my big empty brain, because I'm seeing double and I'm having dizzy spells and shit. So it's difficult for me to sit and to read for a prolonged period of time. However, I still do peck away at them, and I'm still working on some that he sent me a while ago. But this is his latest, Infinite West by Mike Palasek. And he's a really good writer. Look him up on online on Amazon and places like that, or go to his website. I can't fucking recommend him enough. Again, he's not a sponsor. He just sends me books, and I've liked his work for years and years, over a decade. And he used to follow me on my previous website a long time ago, and has actually even included some quotes from me in various works of his. So, again, here's the back cover if you like to see. I like the dancing fucking nurses from the COVID days and the fake fucking Osama bin Laden fucking thing from the Obama days. Yeah, very good. New book, Infinite West, from Mike Palasek. Thank you very much, Mike. So what's going on with the executions? Has Hamas devolved into something? Are they just killing their own people? As I'm sure a lot of people, are trying to use these as an example of. Oh my God, they're just summary executions of these people. My thing on that is, what the fuck do you expect? Honestly, what do you expect? There are no jails. There are no prisons. They have police departments, police forces, people who are still alive, and they still have gear, but there are no police stations. There are no courts. There's no judicial system anymore. All this stuff did exist. All this stuff did exist and was run by the government of Palestine. But it was all destroyed. It was all destroyed by the very people and their collaborators and apologists who now point to the summary executions of 7 collaborators, people who were killing Palestinians and trying to kick off the continuation of the genocide on behalf of the people who destroyed the police stations, the jails, the prisons, the judicial system, the government buildings of Gaza. What would you expect them to do with people like that? Where will you house them when you put them in jail? Where they won't be, because these are terrorists that aren't necessarily Palestinians. Some of them are just fucking sellouts. But some of them are Takfaris and Wahhabists and Salafists, the same people that we used, the United States used, as proxy warriors in places like fucking Libya and Yemen and Iraq and Syria, and Afghanistan, for that matter. They are ISIS. What would you expect them to do with them? Put them in someone's apartment? Feed them? There are very few apartments, and there's very little food. So that's the first issue. What do you do with them? There is no fucking judicial system anymore. If there are judges alive, if there are bailiffs alive, if there are jurors who will take the time to sit from their days of sifting through the fucking rubble for something to eat or the body of a loved one, what would you have them do with collaborators and ISIS who would, at the drop of a hat, kill as many fucking Palestinians as they can? What would you do with them? Especially given their circumstances. That's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind is there are fucking war profiteers in Gaza, unfortunately. I have not existed in any situation like this, and very, very few living people have, other than the people in Gaza. So I can't tell you how upset I would be at war profiteers. There are people who have set up fucking businesses because there's no fucking card readers, there's no fucking ATMs, there's no fucking, you can't just use your card and tap your card and go, or tap your phone and go. You need cash. And people are getting cash from remittances, from donations, from help from outside. People are getting cash to their accounts, but there are no banks. There's no fucking ATMs. Then they're getting credit. They're getting money deposited into their accounts, but that's useless to them unless they can get the cash. And so what you have are a bunch of fucking vulture pieces of shit, fucking money changers, who will take their fucking money, transfer from their bank account into their own bank account, and then give them 50 cents on the fucking dollar. Those people are also being rounded up and arrested. Now, I don't know if they're part of the ones who are being, the 7 who were executed. I don't think so. They've probably found some other means by which to punish them, like cleaning out their fucking bank accounts and trying to figure out who they used, and trying to give them the money back. Be my guess. But yeah, they've detained 30 people or so, and they've executed 7. Again, absent a real fucking judicial system, absent a court system, absent a penal system, all of these things Gaza had, absent a banking system, all of these things Gaza had, they don't have anymore because of the Israelis. And the Israelis are using what's happening now to show, see that Hamas has to go because they're killing their own people, which is the same fucking shit they said about Gaddafi, they said about Assad, they said about Putin, they said about all of these people. and their collaborators and apologists who were repeating those lines. Yes, I stand with the Palestinians, but Hamas has to go. And look, they're executing people in the street. The third thing I'll say about this is this. We have in this country a lengthy, drawn out, fucking exaggerated, drawn out process for the death penalty. I believe, like some fucking authors back in the fucking day and thought leaders back in the day, and I'm talking about the 80s and the 70s and the 90s, who said if you're going to have a death penalty, it has to be very quickly right after the fucking crime, and it has to be public. And it has to be mandatory for the public to watch. Why is that? The only reason to have a death penalty is not for justice, not to make the fucking families of the victims feel better, though these things are fucking part of what happens and a beneficial part of what happens. But that's not why you have a death penalty. You have a death penalty and you make it mandatory to watch the public execution as a deterrent. Don't be a fucking wartime fucking grifter. Don't be a fucking money changer. Don't try to take advantage of the situation to line your own pockets. You will be cleaned out and left to be a pauper and then pushed out on the street with nothing and a scarlet letter tattooed to your head. Okay? Don't be a fucking collaborator. Don't try to fucking kill Palestinians. Don't try to fucking kick back up the genocide and cause the death of another million goddamn just because somebody on the other side of the fence is paying you a bunch of money. Fuck that. You will be killed for it. So you think to yourself, well, this is archaic. It's out of touch. It doesn't work. It does work. It does work. It doesn't work in the system that we have now, so we shouldn't have it. The only way for the death penalty to work is exactly the way they have it. Are they using it? Would they be using it without all of this going on? I doubt it. If they had a court system, if they had a judicial system, if they had a penitentiary system, I doubt they would be doing it. But they don't. So here they are. And now the fourth thing I'll tell you. And this is the last part of this. These people have survived, or in the process of surviving an attempted genocide. They have seen what they have built and what their fathers and what their forefathers and their mothers have built in spite of what has been done, the backs being turned by the rest of the fucking world in Gaza for the last 75 fucking years. And these collaborators are working with the people who are destroying it so they can, because they lust for the land, for what they can do with it themselves. Beachfront property. I don't know what the emotions are when you find a collaborator in a situation like these guys are in, but these are humans. They're human fucking beings. The fact that they don't just rip them to shreds with their fucking bare hands, they are not animals. The animals are the ones who are committing the genocide, not Hamas. So let's keep that in mind as well. The Russia-Trump agreement from Friday, well, it wasn't an agreement. It's just Putin and Trump talking about it, and then he brought in Zelensky. And apparently Zelensky, he freaked out on Zelensky and said, listen, dickhead, you're not getting the whole fucking thing back. You're not. Russia's here. Russia's done it. And I showed you in this article that I put together for you. And you can go read it. And I take out fucking, I go after fucking Ben from fucking Midas fucking Touch. The half-wit praising the Nazi failed comedian midget Zelensky for standing up to Donald Trump. He's so fucking, he's so high on fucking Trump derangement syndrome that he doesn't realize he's standing with fucking the globalists and the Nazis. I explained, there's an article that I'll link you to in this. I could show it to you. It's from Sputnik. But as I said before in the little quip I wrote over the, when I posted it, here we go. When I read the whole thing from Sputnik News, and it's extensive, and it goes back to 2013 and talks about the conflict from there up until where we are today, and it's accurate. It's accurate as per my reporting, because I've been reporting on it since 2013. Now I know a good part of my fucking reporting on it up until 2018 was deleted by fucking WordPress, but I still have it in my fucking archives. I covered the shit out of fucking Ukraine and our color revolution there. And Porky Poroshenko and Azov Battalion. And Stepan Bandera and his fucking followers. And Zaboda. And the right sector. And the Nazis. I covered what they did at the trade hall back in 2014. I don't see how anybody with half a fucking brain can come down on the side of the fucking of Kiev when they've been bombing the people of Donetsk and Lugansk since 2014, because they dared to say they don't want to be part of the puppet regime that used Nazis to overthrow the elected government of Viktor Yanukovych. That's well within their fucking rights, especially when they know they are a Russian-speaking ethnic fucking minority, slight minority in the country, and they were already being attacked and rounded up by the goddamn Nazis who hate them. They had every right to become separatists and to say the Donbass region, part of Donetsk, part of fucking Lugansk, was going to be separate, an autonomous region within Ukraine. But of course, they couldn't have that. So they bombed the shit out of them from 2014 to 2021, December 2021, January 2021, early February 2000, January 2022, early February 2022. Bombed the shit out of them, killed thousands. No one's running around. Those same motherfuckers like Ben, who will come out and go, "Oh my God, Gaddafi was an evil dictator who killed his own people." They don't say that about Zelensky, but he was. Porky Poroshenko, they won't say he was an evil dictator who killed his own people, but he goddamn sure was. And and you say, "Oh well, there's no Nazis left in fucking Ukraine." Bullshit. Lamont just did a big fucking expose. I covered it 2 months ago. Hundreds and hundreds of the 3rd fucking battalion, the 3rd assault battalion in fucking Ukraine, their front forces are Azov battalion. They either have fucking Nazi symbolism on their uniforms or tattooed to their fucking bodies. 400. Lamont came to the conclusion of, but those are the ones they saw. The point is, standing with Zelensky is standing with fucking the worst things that Biden did, the worst things that fucking Obama did, the worst things that John Kerry did. I've posted the picture many times about the little blonde fucking girl sitting there in a bombed out fucking house. Some journalist snapped a photograph of her. She survived, her family didn't. All these people who would take that if it was a Palestinian child and go, oh my God, Ben from fucking Midas Touch. Oh my God. But because she's a little blonde Russian-speaking girl in fucking Donetsk, fuck her. That's wrong. Come here and look at this. There's tons of stuff here. The deal is this. Trump took Zelensky aside Friday and said, listen, they're going to get something. They're either going to get the way it's the battle lines are drawn right now, which is a good chunk of fucking Ukraine, or they're going to get what by international law was supposed to be fucking, okay, they're gone now because they've said we're gone. They have a right to do that. Anybody has a right to do that. You can't bomb them into fucking submission because there's a bunch of fucking mineral wealth in the ground that you want to be able to hand over to your fucking buddies in our national interests. That's not how it works. But that's what fucking Zelensky's doing. That's what Porky Poroshenko was doing. That's what Zelensky's doing. Okay? They have a right to do that. And so Trump is saying, listen, Crimea is obviously not yours anymore. Zelensky's like, oh no, fuck that. And the Donbass is not yours anymore. Otherwise, Trump rightly said, otherwise, they're going to take, where is it? They're going to take all of this shit. I know, that's the fucking resources. They're going to take all of this shit. That's where it was yesterday when I wrote the article. That's the fucking battle lines. This in here is what they were saying, okay, they're going to take that. Because it's not Ukraine's anymore to fucking claim. They have formed their own fucking regional government they have separated from fucking Ukraine. They have a right to fucking do that. Like South Ossetia and fucking Georgia. They have a right to do that. Like South Sudan and Sudan. They have a right to fucking do that. But no, Zelensky's like, no, we got to keep the fucking conflict going. No, we got to keep the conflict. Because he knows as soon as the conflict is over, he's out of power. And he can't keep lining his pockets. This is what the conflict is about. Especially these down here. These are shale liquid natural gas resources. Massive shale liquid natural gas resources. In the Lugansk area, part of Donbass. British Petroleum gave $10 billion to Ukraine during the Porky Poroshenko days to lay claim to those. So they could frack it and ruin and destroy the fucking environment there. But they could snatch up that fucking energy and sell it. And not for a single fucking profit for anybody in Ukraine, just all for themselves. That's what this is about. And here's more fucking detailed information on the natural resources. Go see this article. There's tons of stuff there. And of course, you know, people like this dickhead are all happy that Zelensky punches back after Trump screams at him in Oval. All highlights, all caps. This guy's like, he looks like a fucking kid sitting in his dad's fucking office, doesn't he?
To do those things. That is absolutely unacceptable to Ukraine, to the Ukrainian people. We are going to fight, and you need to be tougher. You said you were going to give us long-range missiles. You said you were going to give us Tomahawks. You said you were going to sanction Russia. Donald, this is absolutely pathetic the way.
Right. Here he is screaming with all his self-righteous fucking glory. Here he is screaming in all his self-righteous glory. Because Donald Trump refused to give long-range missiles to Zelensky and the Nazis to launch into fucking Moscow. Which would cause Moscow to wipe Ukraine off the map and might even bring us and Russia into a direct shooting fucking war, which could then escalate into World War III. This dumb dickhead, because he's so fucking crazy on fucking Trump derangement syndrome, he can't understand and process. Now, maybe because he was busy fucking defending Colin Kaepernick while I was actually researching and writing and doing work and covering this story back in the day. Maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe the other part of the reason is the very same people who posted this bullshit about propaganda about fucking Voldemir, I called him Voldemort Zelensky, saying he didn't cancel the elections and lock up opposition candidates, but then he says, oh yeah, but he did cancel elections, and they are fucking opposed, and they are locking up opposition candidates, but they're doing that because of the war, because of the fucking invasion. So actually it's Putin's fault. That's fucking Google AI. Google owns and operates fucking YouTube and controls that YouTube algorithm, which is paying him handsomely to spout his bullshit about the fact that he's so pissed off because Donald Trump dared to not give missiles that would cause World War III to fucking Nazis in Ukraine. All because Russia rightly says we will accept just the Donbass region being allowed to be a fully autonomous region or joining Russia if they so choose. They've already had a referendum. All those fucking regions had referendums. They all would rather be in Russia. Of course they would. Because the Ukrainians and the Nazis are bombing this shit out of them. They're destroying fucking local infrastructure. They're destroying schools. They're destroying churches. They're destroying businesses, post offices, police departments. The same. They're doing the same shit from 2014 to 2021. They were doing to February 2022. They were doing the same shit to fucking Donbass that Israel's doing to fucking Gaza. But because Putin, people on the left turn and look the other fucking way. I didn't. Even though I'm certainly not a fan of Donald Trump. Trump is looking to get something. Israel fucked his goddamn big, beautiful peace deal up with their fake thing, which I'll talk about next. Because they just want to steal the land. And they want to continue with Greater Israel. So his big, beautiful peace deal is on the fucking ropes. It's on the fucking rocks. So Donald Trump wants to bring peace to something. He said he would be done. He promised his people before the election, if you vote for me, Ukraine, Russia will be over in 24 hours. Here we are, 10 months. He wants something. He wants a victory. And to be honest, Crimea doesn't belong to Ukraine anymore. Neither does Donbass. Legally speaking, according to international law, neither does Donbass. It's not about the spoils of war. They didn't own Donbass in 2014. That's why they started bombing the shit out of the civilian infrastructure in Donbass. Okay? So, he's right. In this case, Putin is 100% right, and he is in the right. And he is trying to defend the people of the Russian-speaking people. This motherfucker, Ben, what would he have you do? What would he have Putin do? Leave? And then what? Come what may to the fucking Russian-speaking people of Donbass? It would make the killing fields look like romper room. So, of course, Putin's not going to do that. Nor should he. Ben would have you say, we can fix it by giving Zelensky and the fucking and the Nazis long-range missiles to kick off World War III by bombing civilians in fucking Moscow. And Ben claims to be on the left. Last but not least, the bulldozer story, the fucking Hamas attacked the IDF story. I don't buy either one of those. Again, I would ask you if you've seen a video of the bulldozer that's actually a video of the bulldozer blowing up in Rafah and killing the 2 soldiers and injuring others. I'd be glad to see that. And I will retract my position. I will modify my position. That it was somehow an accident caused by a contractor who hit an unexploded ordnance in Rafah. I have a hard time believing that. I do. Because that story is so much better for the IDF and Netanyahu than they hired some of their fucking the same collaborators that Hamas was killing members of. They hired collaborators to stage a false flag attack and kill IDF soldiers and launch a fucking RPG. It was an RPG. That was, you look everywhere, the RPG story is what it was. And they said it was Hamas. Now, I tell you this because according to all these sources that are all basically coming from Ryan Grimm and from one guy from American Conservative website. So 2 sources, really. The U.S. knew it was a bulldozer and not Hamas. However, interestingly enough, when you look at Ryan Grimm's thing here, he'll tell you, and so will Google AI, will tell you that they had confirmation from the White House and from the Pentagon. Confirmation from the White House and the Pentagon. I have that someplace. Here it is. God damn. Oh, it's back on here. This is from Google AI. While Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu initially accused Hamas of causing the blast by firing anti-tank missile from a tunnel, reports from one person, American journalist Ryan Grimm, verified by the White House and Pentagon, established the true cause. The explosion occurred when a military bulldozer from an Israeli settler company ran over an unexploded ordnance in southern Gaza. It was an accident. It was a misunderstanding. As opposed to, it was a false flag event where the higher-ups or Mossad or somebody in control of their fucking collaborators, the same ones that Hamas had killed, by the way, were told to fucking kill a couple fucking IDF soldiers so they can use that as justification for continuing the genocide. I believe that's what happened. And until I see the fucking video, until I see a fucking legitimate image, which I haven't yet, that's what I believe happened. But this is how the story was reported. And it's still being reported. This is from Times of India. On camera, shock, Hamas ambush, Israeli soldiers killed in Gaza. It was on the camera, according to fucking the Times of Israel. However, that didn't happen. Now, here's the interesting thing. Does that look like Qassam Brigade to you? No. That looks like a bunch of fucking collaborators. That looks like a bunch of collaborators. But thanks to Ryan Grimm, it was an accident caused by someone other than the IDF. And then it was a mistake when Israel used that as an excuse to bomb the shit. I don't believe that for a minute. I think in this lie, there's a bit of truth. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time, and I will see you next time. Oh, by the way, again, you get a chance, even if it's not this one, but this is his newest, check out Mike Polasek. He really does good work. He really is a very gifted writer. He's right up. He's the whole thought criminals thing I usually have up here. He's definitely a thought criminal. Ain't no question about that. But I think you'll like his writing. I think you'll like his writing style. At least I do. Anyway, I thank you for your time. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.